Welcome to another episode of the Blitz, where today I will be your host, Bryan Greer, and we will be going over the first round matchup of the Mavs versus Rockets, Game 1 in the NBA playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks lost to the Houston Rockets 118-108. I believe that this game came down to two things: free throws and three-pointers. The Rockets shot 45 free throws while the Mavericks shot only 17. That is absolutely ridiculous, and for the Mavericks to have a shot in this series, they're going to have to do a lot better guarding the paint and keeping James Harden out of there. In fact, James Harden shot 17 free throws alone, which that's right, the same amount as the whole Mavericks team had. And that's embarrassing. I don't see how the Mavericks allowed that to happen. That they had to have in their scouting report that James Harden was going to be going to the basket a lot and drawing fouls, and they seem to not be interested in trying to stop that. Besides Tyson Chandler in the paint, they basically had no resistance. And in order for the Mavericks to have a shot in this series, they are going to have to stop the parade to the free throw line. And the Rockets in the first quarter got to a very fast start, getting up in this game 32-19. James Harden was just going in the first quarter. You had Jason Terry turning back the clock like it was 2011. He had 16 points in this game, but in the first quarter, started hitting threes, got the crowd into it. You had Terrence Jones out there making things happen with, I think, 6 assists. Also around, I think, 8 rebounds. He was just very active in the paint. The Mavs did actually in the first quarter get Dwight Howard in foul trouble, but that didn't seem to stop them because the Mavericks for the first half of the first quarter were just sleepwalking, and this game got to a very bad start for the Mavericks, and that they really had a problem just finding the rhythm to this game and seemed to not realize that the playoffs had started because the Rockets came out on fire and were wide open on the three-point line, could not do anything wrong, it seemed like, and I thought that Rondo on Harden was going to be a good matchup, but in the first quarter, it did not seem that way. It was very just sloppy defensive rotations. Monte Ellis didn't look like he was very interested in playing defense. Chandler Parsons, he was very mediocre, to say the least. Just up and down on the defensive end, shooting all ill-advised three-pointers, not getting to the basket the way he needed to in the first quarter, and that showed by the score. Now, going into the second quarter, the Mavericks, this was their best quarter. Them winning this quarter 36-27. You had playoff Rondo in this quarter. He was great. He was just slashing to the basket, making open jumpers, even made a three in this quarter. He was all over the floor, active as can be. I think he actually had 9 points in that quarter. He was very dominant and really got the Mavs back in the game, facilitating, getting Dirk involved in this quarter. Dirk really came alive in the second quarter, hitting threes, really getting the team back into it. Tyson Chandler was just massive on the boards in the game, actually, with 18. Seemed to be just sealing down the paint, you know. Dirk was very active actually in this game. He was very good in this quarter of sticking his nose in there and really, trying on defense. You had even Chandler Parsons with a couple of ridiculous dunks, which was about all he did in this game, and he was just very active. They seemed to just really get their game going and really put the Rockets on their heels. But at the end of the quarter, they did unfortunately give up a couple of ridiculous threes on scrambles and things of that nature, I think, to Ariza. And I believe, again, Jason Terry hitting another big three. So I think the Mavericks were down by about 6 points going into the second half. But in the first half, one bad quarter, one very good quarter in the second, got back into the game. So I thought that the second half was going to be a lot more competitive than it was. Going into the third quarter, the Rockets came back out on fire and really put the Mavs back up, I think getting back down by 15 points once again. Mavericks, once again, for the first half of the third quarter, looked like they were sleepwalking. They just were very pedestrian on offense. Just not being able to make any shots, bad passing, just turnovers, a lot of jump passes that really should have not been thrown. I didn't understand what they were doing. It was just very sloppy, embarrassing offensive rotations. And on defense, James Harden once again just came out, be able to get to the free throw line. Actually only made 4 shots. So that lets you know that he was just, set up at the free throw line the whole game and really never was had any kind of, resistance whatsoever. So this game was in the third quarter just got out of hand once again. But in the last few minutes of the third quarter, Dirk really started putting the team on his back. Actually had a 4-point play when Jason Terry made a silly foul on the 3-point line, so he made a 4-point play. And Dirk really was just trying to lead this team back and, got him back in at the end of the third quarter again, getting Dwight Howard in foul trouble. He had 4 fouls going into the fourth quarter. Rajon Rondo, again, MIA in the second half. The third quarter, he was really just distant. I don't know what to say. I was really expecting him to be able to handle Jason Terry, but that was not the case. Jason Terry definitely got the better of him, making 4-7 threes for 16 points overall, and was just facilitating the ball and just very good. And just a lot of bad passes by Rondo, bounce passes that were just deflected, and it was just ridiculous. This team just had no chemistry. Didn't seem to want to play defense. Monte Ellis was 5 for 16. I didn't understand that. It was just horrible. The Mavericks need him to have a way better game in game 2 to even have a shot at winning this game or taking the game on the road. And also Chandler Parsons was 5 for 15. Now going into the fourth quarter, the Mavericks did make it close once again. Rondo did make a couple of layups and get it going again a little bit, but overall this game was just not one that the Mavericks were going to win because they were not interested in getting any kind of defensive stops. Besides Tyson Chandler, I don't know if anybody else is really interested in playing defense. Now I do want to give kudos to Amari Stoudemire, even though he did not shoot the ball well at all. He was very active in the paint and trying to get rebounds. He was giving maximum effort, and I would have liked to see him get a few more, minutes because he was very active. And Chandler Parsons, he has to just, turn his game up because, he was able to get to the basket when he wanted to, and it just seemed that he just settled for too many threes and just ill-advised jump shots, fadeaways, just ridiculous shots. And I don't want to hear about his injury. If he's out there playing, then play. He seemed to, in the second quarter go back in the locker room, but the doctor said he was okay, ran some tests on him. But he's going to have to just give a lot more effort on the defensive end and facilitate and create, because he is the only one besides Monte Ellis on the Mavericks who can create his own shot. And, I know that he does, make a lot of money and everything. So besides that, he is a key part to this team, and, he has got to do that. I don't know if the, Rockets, crowd got to or whatever, but that's something that he's going to have to get over if they're going to have the Mavericks have a shot to win in this series, because he can't go out there and try to prove the Rockets wrong or try to, validate the contract he got from the Mavericks. He has to just go out there and play his game. So the Mavericks cannot have, him 5 for 16, Monte Ellis 5 for 15 going out there, because they're not going to have a shot in this series if that continues. And their defensive rotations have to get better, because if James Harden continues to get 17 free throws a game, they're not going to win this series. It's going to be very short, and the Rockets are going to be going to the second round very soon. So very disappointed in how the Mavericks came out. I would like to see Dirk get more shots in the fourth quarter. I don't understand how he had 20 points going into the fourth quarter and only got 4 points in the fourth quarter. That is something that Rick Carlisle and the Mavericks should definitely get. He should be demanding the ball, Dirk, because he was eating them alive for the most part. And I think that him and Tyson Chandler just need to be just going to the basket at will, because when they do, they are way more competitive. And Rajon Rondo, he has to become a more active player on defense. He has to get up in the jock of James Harden. He got to keep Jason Terry off of the free throw line and off of the three-point line. They've got to run them off the three-point line because you can't have players like Corey Brewer, who had 12 points in the fourth quarter, which is just unacceptable. You just can't have that. He was just making three after three. He was wide open. So even though Corey Brewer's not known for his offense and is a defensive player, you cannot just leave NBA players open on the three-point line. So in game 2, the Mavericks have to get their defensive intensity up, and they have to really lock down and make smart decisions on offense and stop these jump passes. I don't know what they're doing. Just very indecisive, and they have to get better at that if they're going to have a shot in game 2, because if they allow James Harden and Dwight Howard and those guys to just have wide open shots and get putbacks, because the Rockets got, I believe, 23 points on 17 turnovers by the Mavericks, and that cannot happen. That's almost a full quarter of points. So again, Mavericks are going to have to get a lot better in the game 2 in order to have a shot of winning this series. So looking forward to game 2. Hopefully the Mavericks will have their head in the game next time and start out a lot better to start the game and also start the second half. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Rajon Rondo can, turn back the clock and become playoff Rondo. See if Monta Ellis is interested in playing some defense and making some shots and get to the rim. So I will be back for game 2 recap. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think the Mavs need to do better in game 2? What did you think about game 1? I want to hear your thoughts about Monta Ellis, about Chandler Parsons, their defense. Anything that you've got to say about game 1, I want to hear it. Also, if you think they've got a shot in game 2. So with that being said, this has been another episode of The Blitz, and I will see you later. Take it easy.